Meghan Markle continues to be one of the most disliked celebrities without ever having committed a crime. Today I'm breaking down all the reasons from a PR perspective why Meghan Markle and Prince Harry continue to spiral since moving to Los Angeles. Today I'm exploring the top 10 PR nightmares, with number 1 being the most recent flop. Hi, I'm Hannah, and it continues to amaze me how Meghan Markle fails over and over again and makes the same mistakes. People often ask me why it is that she gets such horrible pushback. Well, today we're jumping into all of it with the top 10 reasons. Welcome to The Swish, where together we analyze royal trends, traditions, and lifestyles for an elegant and inspired life. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Number 10, Meghan Markle's dad at her wedding. Before she even became a royal, Meghan Markle was embroiled in royal scandal when her father was caught taking paparazzi photos before his daughter's big day. It later was revealed that this was a setup by a British PR agency, and then he later sued for the release of these photos. He ultimately lost this, but it put Meghan in a really horrible light, led her father to have a heart attack, and ultimately he wasn't there to walk her down the aisle. Later, he released a letter from Meghan Markle sharing the disparagement that she felt over those weeks. From the start, it made people wonder why Meghan didn't want her family at the wedding and only had her mother. Leading up to the royal wedding in May of 2018, headline news was scandalous about this, and the public relations element was fraught. Coming in at number 9 is Archwell Audio. Since leaving the royal family in 2019 and then setting out on their own in 2020, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry first initiated a production company named Archwell Audio. They were committed to releasing inspirational stories, updates, narratives, and lots of podcasts, plural. However, their latest endeavor with Archwell Audio resulted in only a channel trailer and one holiday special. A one-off that consisted of only a few minutes of their own audio and then lots of interviews, which I'll share with you in a minute seems to be a theme for her. Spotify definitely walked back on their $20 million deal that pushed Meghan to an entirely new platform called Limonada Media that now Limonada Media will not release until 2025. All of this being laid out in the news makes Meghan and Harry look like they don't have their act together, which they don't. By the way, Archwell Audio no longer exists. It's now Archwell Productions, which is primarily their Netflix deal. In 8th place, the blood diamond earrings. On the couple's first official international tour together, Meghan and Harry toured Fiji, Australia, Tonga, and New Zealand. And their first night in Tonga was marked by a state dinner with the president. For this event, Meghan wore a blue dress and these stunning chandelier diamond earrings. Meghan had been gifted these earrings by the Crown Prince for her wedding, which at the time didn't seem to be a problem. However, the very time they were on this tour, just 3 days beforehand, it was revealed that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who gave Meghan these earrings, was responsible for both luring and graphically killing journalist Jamal Khashoggi, which was their party's opposition. Meghan maybe missed these headlines, but it was really on her staff who didn't tell her about it. And if they did, which is highly likely, because as a member of the royal family, you're constantly looking to see how you'll be perceived, how you will be analyzed by all the different things that are happening in the world. And it's highly unlikely she wasn't aware of headline news at the moment. Just a few months later, at Prince Charles's 70th birthday party, just a month later, she wore the same earrings again. Speculation was swirling as to why Meghan would wear blood diamond earrings, and her lawyer actually had to come out and make a statement about this because it created such a PR nightmare. And he said, quote, "At no stage did the Duchess tell staff that the earrings were borrowed from a jeweler, as that would have been untrue, and therefore any suggestion that she encouraged them to lie to the media is baseless." He went on later to say, "It is possible that she said the earrings were borrowed, which is correct, as presents from heads of state to the royal family are gifts to Her Majesty the Queen, who can then choose to lend them out to members of the family." Meghan is a self-proclaimed news junkie. She mentioned at one point she reads The Economist every single day. Well, Meghan, this was headline news at The Economist for 3 days straight around the time that you wore those earrings. Regardless, it appears that Meghan chose fashion over research. If Meghan really wants diamonds, the best place she can go is a royal family approved company, Ana Lucia Diamonds. You've heard me talk about them so much lately, but it's because I truly believe in them. I really love what Ana Lucia has done with her creative designs, and I'm wearing a few of her pieces today. This beautiful cross necklace, this little heart diamond piece. It's made for women to be affordable, eco-friendly, and sustainable because of the lab-grown diamond element. Click the link below to take a look at the jewelry that I'm wearing, order these exact pieces. Just for a limited time, she loves our audience so much that she is giving away a free piece of diamond jewelry to anyone who purchases using the code SWISH20 over a certain amount. Now, I love this little piece. This is from the Lucky Stars collection, and it reminds me of the earrings that Princess Catherine wore. She had this event last year before she got sick, and she was gifted these beautiful little star earrings, and this ring reminds me of the ring version of that, but it has diamonds in it. So if you want to have something that's a girl's best friend and backed by the royal family, to get 20% off, use code SWISH20, and a free piece of diamond jewelry is just gorgeous. I love that it's fun and elegant at the same time, as well as your classic stylish pieces. Please let me know if you pick out a piece of jewelry. Once you get it, send me a picture of you wearing your crown jewels. You can email me at hannah@theswishcompany.com. Get your crown jewels today using the code SWISH20 and clicking the link below, as well as your free piece of diamond jewelry. Let's jump back in here to the 7th place PR nightmare from Harry and Meghan. And that, of course, is the Netflix curtsy. Now, I've heard from many people that maybe were hoping that they would be turning a corner, that this was really the moment that really turned a lot of people off. And I know that because you've commented this to me as well. And really, you could say the entirety of the Harry and Meghan documentary was a PR disaster and a nightmare. However, I believe that this moment is an encapsulation of the entire problem with Harry and Meghan. And major news outlets were debating this for weeks after it aired. Some people saw it as a dishonor to the Queen, especially as this was premiered after her passing. And others saw this as Meghan's sense of humor. Please let me know in the comments below what you think it is. Either way, this is not a good look for someone who calls themselves a duchess and wants to be esteemed and respected. It's not a good PR look either if you're trying to reach that demographic, which is probably the only demographic that they have left of maybe people who are holding on to the love of the royal family and what they used to be. In 6th place, we have the Ellen show cringe. Now, around the time that Meghan Markle went on the Ellen show in the fall of 2021, it was only several months after she had done her sit-down interview with Oprah. And there were a lot of unanswered questions around the racism claims, around her victimhood. Maybe we had all the answers we needed to know, but there were definitely still lots of things to say around this. Around this time, Meghan was rolling out her book, The Bench, which was a poem that she wrote for her husband and her son, supposedly, and that she'd had illustrated and turned into a book. And I believe that's probably the only reason that she was on Ellen, because this entire segment was so hard to watch, especially for those of us that are royal watchers and love the reverence of the royal family. Over the course of the episode, Meghan acted like a squirrel. She drank from a bottle. She squatted in the street. It was the opposite of anything and everything that Queen Elizabeth would have stood for. Trying to, first of all, going on a show to sell something, and second of all, making a fool of herself. And many people will say that, you know, that's her sense of humor and she was just trying to be funny, but the whole prank is just horribly stupid and not funny at all. And she received a lot of backlash for this because it was trying so hard to be funny, and it really, really wasn't. With an interviewer like Ellen, who's high profile, this would be time to set the record straight. but instead she shopped for hot sauces. It was an entirely irrelevant interview that did nothing for her or her reputation except maybe create some really cringe memes and have some really not funny pranks. And maybe it made us all hate Ellen even more. In fifth place, we have the Archetypes show interviews. Besides the one holiday episode of their now debunked Archwell audio, Meghan Markle pursued a brand new solo show in 2022 called Archetypes, where she, quote, aimed to investigate, dissect, and subvert the labels that try to hold women back. The 12-episode series that only lasted one season was award-winning, although there is an argument to be made that she has paid for these awards. It was highly produced and credited with 13 producers. I can't imagine what 13 producers are doing, first of all, but if you listen to her podcast, it clearly has too many producers. It's overproduced. And one thing about this, besides the stories that she shared on this podcast and takes that maybe weren't exactly true, that were later fact-checked, it all came out that she may not even interview many of her guests. Now, yes, it was clear that she interviewed her A-list friends, which would make a lot of sense, but for the experts that she brought on to debunk these claims that were the whole point of her podcast, it was clear that it was not necessarily her who was doing the interviews. Not only did several sources come forward and say that others would interview her experts and then she would record her own audio asking the questions and dub it over, but there was one particular guest who specifically thanked the executive producers for interviewing her, which made a lot of us wonder, what in the world is Meghan Markle doing? She claims to only work 1 hour a week, and now she doesn't even do her own podcast. So, very questionable. It put the PR cycle into a spin, wondering why in the world she doesn't do her own work. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And we certainly can't forget Bill Simmons, who called them effing grifters after Prince Harry pitched the idea to interview Putin and Donald Trump about their childhood traumas. And it makes a lot more sense now why Archetypes only lasted one season and Archwell Audio only ever had one episode. In fourth place, we have the bullying scandal. Although Meghan Markle is a self-proclaimed spokesperson for online bullying, she's been at the center of bullying for years. The group calls themselves the Sussex Survivors Club, and it's over 18 employees that have left the Sussex circle. And these are high-profile people, many people who were in their innermost circle that fled from their team very quickly. Of course, there's always high turnover, but the palace had never experienced anything like this until Meghan Markle joined. In fact, these allegations became so strong and credible that Buckingham Palace themselves released a statement and an investigation into this, concluding that they were not going to release the results of this investigation, which to me makes me believe that there's something they don't want people to know, because if they were all clear and Meghan wasn't a bully, then it would be a great thing for Unity to release. In Prince Harry's book, he doesn't deny that there were bullying allegations against Meghan Markle. In fact, he talked about how there were people crying at their desks every day. And there are many people who have since come forward and spoken about how Prince William was a refuge for them in this time. In his book, Courtiers Valentine Lowe really investigates this issue, and he talks about how this was at the root of the split between the House of Sussex and the House of Cambridge and their offices in 2019. Even now, Meghan struggles to find people to work for her, and it's a revolving door at Archwell and all of her other endeavors, including American Riviera Orchard, where she's struggling to find a CEO. In the words of one of the anonymous Sussex Survivors Club, quote, "Everyone's terrified of Meghan. She belittles people, she doesn't take advice, they're both poor decision makers, they change their minds frequently. Harry is a very, very charming person, no airs at all, but he's very much an enabler, and she is just terrible." It's certainly a bad look for someone who is wanting to be a media mogul like Oprah or Gwyneth Paltrow to have this many people who are not sticking by her side or believing in her mission. Just this week, she's had yet another advisor step down. In third place, we have cartoon extravaganzas. In a scathing episode of South Park, the duo are portrayed as the Prince and Princess of Canada on their worldwide privacy tour. It takes scathing aims at Harry and Meghan, from Harry's frozen todger, need I get into that, to Meghan's career pursuits. It actually is extremely dark and sad. It talks about how Meghan is lifeless and Harry is lonely. And this isn't the only cartoon that's taken a shot at them. Family Guy recently mocked them and made fun of them for wanting to sell on Instagram, because that's actually probably the only thing she's got left, is to return to her influencer career. The duo responded and said that they are furious at their depiction. Having their reputation be in the zeitgeist is definitely not a good reputation for them. And I know of many, many people who weren't familiar with them, who were not royal watchers, that saw that episode and then had their ideas of Harry and Meghan in stone because of what they saw. And truly, those are hilarious episodes. If you haven't seen them, go take a look. It was a terrible PR mess for them, and really something that you can't dig out of, because all those jokes were not wrong. In second place, we have the Oprah interview. Of course, for many people, I hear that this was a huge turning point for them in their respect for Harry and Meghan. The interview started halfway, 3/4 of the way, with Meghan herself discussing how she was supposedly forced out of the royal family, how she was not treated fairly, and certainly how her children were treated because of their race. Besides Oprah's lack of pointed questions or pushing her further on what she means by things, other than just saying, "What?" which has become a meme at this point, Meghan made huge claims in that interview, which is why many people look at her differently now. The biggest, of course, was that her children were not given titles because of the color of their skin, which was immediately proven false just a year later when her children received titles after her father-in-law's ascension to the throne. It wasn't to do with race. She was embraced when she first joined the royal family. The other thing she had to say was that she had been married the day before her wedding by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Well, the Archbishop responded and said that actually wasn't true. It was the rehearsal. Altogether, the facts in this interview just didn't line up, and her demeanor was so putrid to people that they no longer trusted her, and they no longer believed that they actually were victims, and that maybe a lot of this was brought on by themselves. It really spiraled into a PR disaster for the couple, as they lost many of their fans who believed that they weren't telling the truth and maybe all of this was a lie. And finally, in first place, we have American Riviera Orchard. In a desperate effort to reignite her reputation and her career, she has relaunched her influencer career with American Riviera Orchard. On March 14th of 2024, she silently uploaded a video and had over 600,000 people follow along, which is significantly lower than any of her followings before. And of course, on the Sussex Royal Instagram, they had millions and millions of followers. So this was a low blow, first of all. American Riviera Orchard is strange because we don't really know what it does, nor do we know what it sells. 6 months on, we still have no idea how to purchase anything from her platform or learn much about it. Meghan has done 2 campaigns where she gave out 50 jars of jam to her A-list friends. Didn't have any way of people learning more about her, capturing their information, or retargeting for marketing purposes later on. Then, of course, we infamously know about how she released a new type of jam and dog biscuits the day that Princess Catherine returned to the King's Parade. More recently, Meghan Markle has been rejected for her trademark and her logo. American Riviera Orchard includes a geographical location, which, if she'd done any research beforehand, she would have known that you cannot trademark geographical locations. She also is using a very complicated logo that doesn't even include the O in American Riviera Orchard, so that was rejected as well. Strangely, her team made a statement saying that this was expected, but why would you go ahead and launch in March when you know that you haven't even trademarked anything yet? It's all very strange. She even spoke to the New York Times recently, talking about how she's investing in herself and that her launch of her business is her next priority. This so far has been a PR nightmare No one's really known what it is, what it does, why she's doing it, other than to make money because she needs it. And she has a lot riding on it for her reputation. The announcement of American Riviera Orchard seems to have been done in haste, which has led to its downfall. It wasn't ready to be talked about yet. Clearly, they hadn't even nailed down the name. So releasing it is a basic PR issue, a basic PR problem, and it makes them look like they don't have their act together, which they don't, and that they are scrambling for what is next. And for a woman who needs all the PR help that she can get, this is an even worse look. Let me know what you think was the worst PR disaster and which ones I missed. Let me know in the comments below and I will write you back. Don't forget, this amazing ring bonus for anyone who wants to try out Anna Lucia diamonds. Beautiful pieces, so stylish and elegant and affordable too. So go check them out, click the link below, take a look at all my jewelry pieces, click the link there and use code SWISH20. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Let me know if you want more videos like this and I will see you in the next one. Bye.